No, the Republicans will not change their mind because the oligarchy has a higher pressure than you do, than you will ever do, and this is why they just cancel their town halls, because technically if they cover their ears, they don't have to hear you. If they cover their eyes, they don't have to see you. So now reality, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna say? You're gonna withhold your vote? Okay, EM can help. Two, why I love calling Democrats and calling them cowards, ultimately, they don't have the numbers. And they tell us that time and time again. They're not like Mitch McConnell. They don't have the backbone of Mitch McConnell to actually have power and a minority. So now reality, Congress won't help us at all because they're useless. Three, the executive? Of course not. Of course not. The agencies, all of them have been compromised, so of course not. They're going to be politicized weapons against Americans and against our allies. The courts. The courts have that space for legal formalism. So if there is no rules and regulations that restrict certain things, then even if it can be unethical, it doesn't make it illegal. In that reality, the Holocaust wasn't illegal because there was means of law in which that was justified, right? It doesn't have to mean that it was ethical, but within that technicalities of it, then how can you prosecute something that is legal? In that reality, the courts are just going to position through the rules and regulations. And ultimately, it's going to go to a way in which, even if it is against their own interests, then will the executive actually position and satisfy a court order? If they don't, what happens then? And that's what I don't like, because the Democratic Party does not have a solution for what happens once it's exhausted and there's nothing else that can be done. In that reality, they're like, oh, it's because you voted him in. It doesn't matter if he won the election. It matters if he's legitimate. And he can be legitimate because, one, if Trump versus Anderson said that there has to be a legislation in order for him to count under the provision, but the provision itself, so the Constitution says that there has to be a vote in order for him to not count, what is he doing in the White House? And that positions that he is above the law. He is above the Constitution. And every single time that a Democrat does not vocalize that a disqualified candidate cannot win, a disqualified candidate does not have authority, then that says that he is above the law. He is above the Constitution. So this March 4th, what Democrats can do is vocalize the fact that he's not even legitimate. He's not even qualified, yet he's there. Be honest with the reality of what is occurring. Because in endorsing someone who is disqualified, you're endorsing that he is above the Constitution. So my message to the Democratic Party is to choose a side. You're going to choose a side of a king who makes law just on executive orders, skipping on Congress, or are you going to choose the people? You cannot choose both. Because when you choose the people, you choose the Constitution. And when you choose the Constitution, you choose to uphold the Constitution. That includes Amendment 14, Section 3. If you're upholding the crown, then that's not the people. That is your comfort, but that is not the people. And that is what I want them to do this March 4th, because nothing else can make a difference. Nothing else will be significant because they don't have the numbers, because they don't have Republicans. But in allowing for Truth and Memory to know that he's not even legitimate, then that can mobilize, that can incentivize, that can wake up Americans to what's actually occurring and have a sense of urgency, because Americans don't have urgency because Democrats are telling them that they can vote themselves out of this, that they can use courts out of this. You know, the Holocaust used courts too, but it was from 1933 to 1945. Voting, Mexico voted themselves out of a perfect dictatorship where they had elections, however they weren't fair. It was after 70 years. And let's acknowledge that in 1979, Iran, the country, had an ideological conservative shift. In that reality, Iranian women went from dressing much more liberally to getting unalive now for wearing the wrong thing. Is that the America that you want? Because that's the America that complacency and silence will get us to. I know you're scared of martial law, but they're gonna do martial law anyways. He's gonna find a reason. It doesn't matter if you provoke him or not. And you being scared of him invoking that is what he's going to use in order for you to obey in advance. You're scared of the grid going out. He's going to do that anyways. You're scared of the economy collapsing. They want to do that anyways. I don't know why Democrats don't have a backbone to actually leverage the economy and sacrifice the economy to get what we want. We have to do that because that's the only leverage we have. The only leverage Democrats have is blue money, blue economy, and then also our own purchasing power.